Isang masayang pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayon din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Go ahead na daw, Tutor Tina. Nakamute ka? Tutor Tina, nakamute ka po.
Okay, isang magandang Lunes ng hapon mga ka-ETUlay sa ating mga students, parents, co-teachers. Welcome po sa ating ETUlay online tutorial General Biology 2. Ako po si Tutor Tina from San Lorenzo Ruiz Senior High School, SDO Pasig. Happy Monday sa aking partner, Tutor Easter. Hello!
Magandang hapon din, Tutor Tina. Magandang hapon din, mga ka-ETUlay. Ako po si Tutor Easter ng Horacio de la Costa High School from SDO Caloocan. Tutor Tina, ready na yata ang ating mga BioStar students?
Yes, today is March 14, 2022. Nasa week 5 na po tayo ng ating aralin. And for this week, pag-uusapan natin ang basic taxonomy. Okay, so before we start, Tutor Easter, ating usual reminder muna, no, sa ating mga BioStar students. So please prepare your pen and paper para sa mga new concepts na i-discuss natin for this afternoon. Also, prepare the gadgets and dapat ready ang ating sariling makinig at matuto this afternoon. Okay, Tutor Easter?
Okay, ready na ang ating mga BioStar students talaga for our attendance check. Just write your name, grade and section, school and location, name of teacher to the chat box, and please share our live stream today and please be respectful with your comments.
Okay, shout out din ang inyong mga teacher, ang school, and then share the live stream, ating FB Live. Okay, so yan, so nagpapasalamat kami last week, Tutor Easter, padami ng padami talaga yung mga viewers natin, no? Okay, so para sa ating week 4, we have the first set of BioStar students. We have Joanna Del Rosario, Jimwell Enriquez, Russell Andujar, Ainsley Rustia, Kier Cantero, Elena Remozora, and then we also have Alia Venas, Carl Morillo, Mary Anting, Ayla Golicinda, Charmaine Ballesteros, Nicole Villamor, and then we also have Charles Rosal, Marco Mangubat, Christopher Pilapil, Noreen Agustin, Jam Sereno, and Drew Quezon. Okay, para naman sa school, Tutor Easter.
Wow, talaga naman, Tutor Easter, ang dami rin natin mga bioactive teacher at bioactive partner institution. So, sino po ba yung mga yon? From Novaliches High School, Ma'am Janet Tamse. From Horacio de la Costa Senior High School, yours truly.
Yan.
And from Lorenzo S. Sarmiento Senior National High School, Ma'am Noraida A. Sally.
Okay, salamat po, dear teachers. Yan, meron pa.
From Padre Garcia National High School, Ma'am Ladilyn Ducay. From Jones Rural School, Ma'am Cheryl Gumpal Reyes. And from Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School, Ma'am Jen Melendres Pepito.
Okay, meron pa, Tutor Easter.
Meron pa, di ba? Dami natin.
Dami.
Institution talaga. So, from Marawi Integrated National High School, Sir Jerwin A. Gutierrez. From Godofredo Reyes Senior National High School, Ma'am Maria Bernadette R. Corsado. From San Mariano National High School, Mr. Noli L. Balbin.
Okay. Congratulations po sa ating mga BioStar students of the week, and then thank you so much po sa ating mga partner schools. Okay, so
Yes.
Tutor Easter, let's go now to our recap. Okay, so
Yes.
reviewin muna natin yung diniscuss ni Tutor Easter last time about evidence of evolution. Okay, so babasahin ko na yung mga questions natin, and then BioStar student, if you want to answer, please type the number and then your answer. Okay, for number 1, the Galápagos tortoise share a common ancestor but have necks of different lengths to best reach the food they need in their environment. Is it letter A, convergent evolution, or letter B, divergent evolution? Okay, so yan yung
Bias to our
diniscuss natin.
students.
May mga sumasagot na ba sa atin, Tutor Easter?
Pakitype po ang mga sagot, mga bias to our students. Is it A, convergent evolution, or B, divergent evolution? Type nga po ang sagot.
Okay, so
Okay,
i-reveal na natin ang correct
yes.
answer. Okay, the correct answer is letter B, divergent evolution. Okay, so let's go now to number 2. Okay, number 2, humans, chimpanzees, and gorillas all have similar hand structures. The hands of these organisms are examples of, is it A, homologous structure, or letter B, analogous structure? Okay, BioStar students, please type the number before your answer. Kamusta ang ating comment section, Tutor Easter?
Nag-aantay pa tayo ng sagot, Tutor Tina. Pero kanina, ang dami nilang sumagot, letter B. Ay ngayon, may sagot na po si si Elena Remorosa, letter A. Drew Quizon, letter A. So, Tutor Tina, ano na po ang sagot natin?
Okay, tingnan natin yung correct answer. The correct answer is yes, letter A, homologous structure. Okay, so let's go to number 3 and last. Okay, so we have here, like many animals kept in human captivity, mating pairs of pigeons are often paired together based on their genetics to achieve the most desirable traits in their offspring. So is it A, artificial selection, or letter B, natural selection? Okay, so ating mga BioStar student, number 3, and then your answer. Okay. Yan,
Okay,
sa
so
ating
may tayo ng sagot, Tutor Tina. Pero kanina, ang dami nila sagot, puro letter A. So,
shout out muna tayo sa mga school.
Yes. Okay.
Ano ang answer nila sa ating number 2?
Letter A, Tutor Tina, ang sagot nila, is it letter A?
Okay, of course, letter A, artificial selection. Very good ang ating mga BioStar students. Talagang nakinig sa discussion mo last week, Tutor Easter.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so let's go na sa ating most essential learning competency, Tutor Easter. Ano nga ba yun sa ating week 5?
Okay, so ito po ang ating mga most essential learning competencies for week 5. Explain how the structural and developmental characteristics and relatedness of DNA sequences are used in classifying living things. Second most essential learning competencies is identify the unique, distinctive characteristic of a specific taxon relative to other taxa. So, Tutor Tina?
All right, so let's start our discussion. So for the last 2 weeks, Tutor Easter, diba, you discussed to us all about evolution and how these processes involve in giving diversification of species. So nagkaroon ng iba't ibang species due to the processes of evolution. Okay, so now that we have knowledge in the evolutionary history and the relationship of organisms or group of organisms, we can use this knowledge in order to classify or to group organisms based on their shared ancestor or ancestry. And ano bang pag-uusapan natin? We are going to deal with systematics. So what is systematics? It's a study of biological diversity and the relationships among organisms. And very broad tong pag sinabi nating systematics, Tutor Easter, napakalawak nito, di ba? At meron siyang 2 specialized field. The first one is taxonomy. So taxonomy is the science of describing, naming, and classifying species. And the other one is phylogenetics or phylogeny. And this is the study of evolutionary relationship among species. Okay, so for this week, ang pag-uusapan lang natin taxonomy. And then for week 6, okay, so dyan na natin i-discuss ano ba ang phylogeny. Okay, so let's start. So meron tayong 2 questions, Tutor Easter, na sasagutin today. Why and how? Okay, so una muna, why do scientists classify living organism? Ba't nga ba natin kailangan mag-classify ng living organism? Actually, maraming reason, no? Tutor Easter.
Opo, marami
Oo.
reason talaga.
Yes. And then we have only 3 main. So, first one is, ano-ano na ba yung mga identified or mga known species? At ano-ano pa ba yung mga unidentified or unknown species? Or ilan na ba sila? Di ba? Gaano pa ba karami? Gaano pa ba ka-diverse yung meron? So, pwede nating ma-discover. And then for number 2, ano yung mga defining characteristics that these species or each species have in order for us to classify them na itong species. Okay, and for number 3, of course, the relationship between these species. Okay, so ang unang-unang, yes, Tutor Easter, yes. Okay, so ang unang-unang who first attempted to classify living organism is Aristotle. So si Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, and he classified all living or all animals in his work. We call that the Historia Animalium, or in English, History of Animals. Okay, so dito animals lang yung classify ni Aristotle. So paano niya classify? Based on their similarities. So animals that live on land, animals that live on water, and then animals with blood and animals without blood. Okay. And then also, he grouped creatures. Pag sinabing creatures, group niya kasi lahat, living organism and non-living organism, into hierarchy or order. So, this great chain of being, ito, pinangalanan niya. Pinangalanan lang to ng mga commentators or followers ni Aristotle. And wherein, as you can see here, merong mga different levels, di ba? At yung plants, nilagay niya sa medyo mababang level. And then, yung mga humans, nilagay niya sa near the top of the hierarchy. And then, ang pinaka-topmost dyan would be God. Okay, then may mga angels, goddesses. Okay, so ang limitation natin dito, kung titingnan natin, no, Tutor Easter, he only grouped or he only classified the organisms sa dalawa lang, 2 major classification, plants and animals. So, paano naman yung mga microorganisms, di ba? So, then we have this Carolus Linnaeus. So, is Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus, or also known as Carl von Linné, in other reference book, you may read that as Carl Linné or Carl Linnaeus. Okay, so but the name Carolus Linnaeus, ito yung Latinized. Okay, so ito yung naka-Latin name niya, si Carolus Linnaeus. And ito yung ginagamit niya sa mga publications niya, sa mga scientific work niya. So naka-Latin, in Latin language. But in Swedish, yeah, we may know him as Carl von Linné. So he was a Swedish botanist and explorer, and he developed 2 things. Again, so the first one is a taxonomic classification system. We call that the Linnaean system, wherein he organized different organisms into larger group to more specific categories, the hierarchical system. And then the second one, he created a scientific naming system called the binomial system of nomenclature. Okay, so let's start muna sa binomial system of nomenclature. Tutor Easter, bakit ba kailangan natin magkaroon nito, no? Why do we need to have the universal naming system? Pwede naman natin tawagin sa common name. Dami naman natin common names, diba?
Siyempre, Tutor Tina, kailangan nating i-classify para malaman natin yung mga karakteristik ng bawat species. And from there po, malalaman po natin kung ano po siya, where they belong to, kingdom ba, what kingdom they belong to, what phylum they belong to. Yes. Actually, Tutor Tina, nung nag-aaral ako, paborito ko to kasi gusto ko magdamo sa mga scientific names ba ng mga organisms.
Magandang topic nga talaga. Okay, so it's because, no, Tutor Easter, yung unang-una, common names, yan, can vary by languages or by just dialects, di ba? So we have here sea urchin, and then, Tutor Easter, taga saan ka ba? Anong probinsya mo ba? And ano yung dialect na meron kayo?
At ako ay from two province, so Tagalog kasi taga Laguna yung mother ancestor ko. Pero yung father ancestor ko ay Bicolano. So Bicol, from Bicol. So dun sa Tagalog na si origin natin sa Lungo. Pero sa Bicol ay Santol-Santolan kasi mukha siyang parang santol, di ba? So
Okay.
kaya ang tawag nila kadalasan minsan ay ano po, Santol-Santolan.
Ako naman kasi tutor Easter yung nanay ko from ano yun, from Samar. So ang dialect nila na meron sila doon, Waray. So ako ang alam ko talaga dito tayong ever since no. Hindi ko alam yung Tagalog term niya. But
Kumakain ko niyan, Jotertina.
hindi ko pa po natatry. Alam ko lang yung name. But in Cebuano, we call this tuyum. And in Ilocano, we call this maratangtang. So here, no, nasa Pilipinas pa lang tayo, tutor Easter, but the common names vary na within the country pa lang, di ba? So yun yung isang problema ng common names natin. And then second one, common names can vary because of the location. Okay, so una, we have this in some parts of the world. We call this animal mountain lion. In some parts of the world, this can be known as panther, puma, or can be called cougar. But we are only referring to same species. Diba? So, ganun ka, ano ang ating common name. And then we also have the problem, common name can also be misleading. Okay, so we have here a picture of a jellyfish, which is not actually a fish. So that's why meron tayong classification na jellies, sea jellies. And then we also have seahorse, wherein this one is a fish, a marine fish. Diba? So kung wala kang idea kung ano talaga yung jellyfish, pag narinig mo lang yung common name niya, isipin mo, ay, isda yan. And then when you hear the word seahorse, hindi mo iisipin isda siya. So, ganun ka, misleading at si common name. So, that's why we have, si Carlos Linnaeus designed a universal naming system wherein kahit sa lugar ako magpunta, kapag sinabi ko yung scientific name, I'm referring to only one species. Hindi tayo malilito-lito na kung ano-ano. Okay. So, this one is what we call the binomial nomenclature. So, when you say bi, it's a prefix which means two. So, meron siyang two names of naming, nomenclature of naming. So, yung two parts na yun contains the genus and the specific epithet. And we have these rules in writing. And alam yan ng dapat ng mga STEM students natin, mga BioStar students natin. So, dapat alam na nila how to properly write scientific. The first one, the name should be in Latin. Okay, wala tayong makikita ditong Korean na scientific name. So doon ma-discover natin siya in Korea or Japanese na scientific name, no sa Japan siya ma-discover. Or let's say Tagalog or Filipino, no? All names are in Latin. Then the genus of our organism begins with a capital letter and then the rest of it naka-lowercase na siya. And then the entire scientific name should be italicized when it is typewritten and then underlined when handwritten. Okay, so sinasabi ko sa mga student ko kasi yung iba ina-italicize, no, yung handwritten, yung pagsusulat nila ng scientific name, which is wrong, hindi pwede yan. So kailangan i-underline. So let's say, for example, we have here the scientific name of a house cat, Felis catus. So kahit saan ka pa magpunta, that would be the scientific name of a house cat. And then we have the Panthera leo, which is the scientific name of lion. So kahit saan ka pa magpunta, when you say Panthera leo, nagkakaintindihan kayo. Okay, we're referring to lion. Okay, and all taxa must have must have an author when described. So let's say Homo sapiens L stands for Linnaeus, which is the author. So siya yung nakadescribe. Or meron tang isa, no, kapag obvious na or alam na natin yung genus name, we can just write the capital letter and then the, let's say dito, Homo sapiens. So we can just write it as H sapiens. Okay. All right. So this one ay meron tayong different international nomenclature codes based on living organism. So for the algae, fungi, and plants, we have the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So sila yung nagbahala dyan in naming algae, fungi, and plants. But in naming animals, we have International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. For bacteria, we have the International Code of Nomenclature Bacteria. And for viruses, we have International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. So sila ang bahala dyan. That's universal. Okay. So, let's go now to how, tutor Easter. Nasagot na natin yung why, di ba? So, paano ba tayo, or how do we classify, how do scientists classify living organisms? So, for the first one is morphological traits. So, when we say morphology, we are talking about the shape and form, whether it is internal or external. So, titingnan natin, may similarities pa. Right, so let's say, for example, we have here different organisms. We have human, bat, whale, and cat, and all of them, meron silang same, yung presence ng similar bones, di ba? So, alam ko, na-discuss to last week ni Tutor Easter. We have the humerus, radius, ulna, carpus, metacarpus, and phalanges for this organism. So, may pare-pareha sila. Parts, no? So that's how, unang tinitingnan ng scientists in order to classify organism. So actually, ito yung main foundation ng classification Tutor Easter, right? So ito yung talagang tinitingnan ng mga taxonomists. Next one, scientists also rely on developmental traits. So here, meron mga organisms na in their adulthood, they look very different. Magkakaiba talaga sila, di ba? But if you check their embryonic development, there are certain phases or stages sa embryonic development nila na magkakatulad sila. And then we can say na, they are related to one another. Pwede natin silang i-classify because during their embryonic development, meron silang certain stage na they look similar. So let's say, for example, we have here fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken, and human. So as you can see, human, we have also tail during our early embryonic development. And then, okay, same with the other organisms. And then for the last one, third one is the genetic trait. So as we can, ang alam natin sa genetics, the presence of yung arrangement, yung sequence talaga ng DNA. And And ayan yung pinakita ni Tutor Easter last time, we're in the similarities of human DNA and protein sequences to other animals. So, as I mentioned earlier, yung morphological traits yung main na tinitingnan. But this one, si genetic traits, siya talagang makakapagbigay ng exact relationship. But this should go hand in hand. Dapat, kung ano yung nakikita natin sa morphological traits, will go then magiging similar din in the genetic traits. Okay. So let's go now to the second na dinevelop or create ni Carlos Linné. So we are done with binomial nomenclature already. Let's go to taxonomic hierarchy. So in taxonomic hierarchy, he developed this classification with 8 levels. And these are the larger domain. Next would be kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, then species. And para sa akin, Tutor Easter, para matandaan ko to, I use a mnemonic. This one, dear King Philip came over from grade Spain. Okay, so sa ating mga BioStar student, kayo kung gusto nyo mag-devise ng sarili nyong mnemonics para matandaan nyo yung sequence nitong hierarchy. Kung anong mas easier sa inyo, pwede nyo gamitin. Pero sa akin, napaka-effective dito, Tutor Easter. Like ko lang siyang ginagamit din. Alam ko na yung pagkakasunod or sequence ng hierarchy. Okay,
actually,
so
Tutor Easter, Tutor Tina, kapag meron kang mnemonics, ay madali mo na matatandaan yung kingdom, yung pagkakasunod. At lagi yung tinatanong kapag mag-exam ka.
Yes, sa mga entrance exam, mga quiz B, laging kinawawala. Kaya lagi ko yung ina-emphasize sa aking mga students. Okay, so in each level po ng ating taxonomic hierarchy, we call that a taxon. Okay, so the whole, yung lahat ng level, we call that the taxa in their plural form. But in each taxon, we describe this as, we describe set of organisms. And then they are grouped based on their similarities. Anong ibig sabihin mo dyan, Tutor Tina, na naka-group, dinidescribe mo yung certain characteristic ng organism based on their similarities. So let's say we look at this example. So wala nga lang domain dito, pero later on, i-discuss natin kung ano ba yung mga domain. So let's say we have here kingdom animalia. So we have a butterfly, fish, elephant, lion, fox, wolf, and then dog. So all of those are animals. That's why kingdom Animalia. Then when we go down, we have the phylum Chordata. Aalisin na natin ngayon si butterfly kasi when we say phylum Chordata, may backbone. So wala naman ganon si butterfly. Then when we go down, we have the class Mammalia, and aalisin na natin si fish kasi siya lang yung hindi mammals in this group. Then when we go down to order Carnivora, we will remove elephant because siya lang yung hindi carnivore. Okay. Then we have the family Canidae. We have the genus Canis, and then the specific species, we have the Familiaris. Okay. So let's say, for example, para sa ating humans, domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia. We have the phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primate, family Hominidae, genus Homo, and species Sapiens. So that's why meron tayong scientific name of Homo sapiens. Okay, so yan. Okay, so let's go now to the domains. Okay, so the domains, the domain is the largest classification in the taxonomic hierarchy. And we have 3, right? Tutor Easter. Okay, so we have the domain Eukarya, we have the domain Archaea, and then we have the domain Bacteria. Okay, so let's go now to, then domains can be broken down into smaller categories. We have kingdom. Okay, so meron tayong 6 kingdoms. The Archaeobacteria, Eubacteria, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and the animal. So, bigyan na, i-describe natin itong mga kingdom na meron. Okay, so for the first one, kingdom Archaea, the word Archaea means archaic. So ito yung mga microorganisms that are ancient, okay, ancient bacteria. So they are prokaryotes, meaning they don't have nucleus. So that's why, ito kasing mga microorganisms na to, they were discovered first, bago pa nila ma-discovered yung organelle na nucleus. And wala din silang mga membrane-bound organisms. So all of our kingdom Archaea are unicellular, and they don't have peptidoglycan on their cell wall. And most of them are extremophiles. And so when we say extremophiles, they love extreme environment, Tutor Easter, no? So we have the halophiles, meaning gusto nila yung extreme salt condition or salt concentration. The halobacteria, example natin siya. We also have methanogens, or yung mga nagproproduce ng mga iba't ibang chemicals. Okay, ayan, methane. So, methanopyrus, candleri. Okay, ng ating example. Then we have also thermophiles, yung extreme temperature, high temperature, pwede pa rin silang mabuhay dyan. So, we have thermoplasma acidophilum. Okay, so some of these organisms in our Archaea are said to be autotrophs, meaning they can produce their own food, but some of them are heterotrophs, or nagre-rely sila sa ibang organism for their food. Okay, so let's go now to Eubacteria. So the prefix U means true. So this one, this one is true bacteria, and also include the blue-green algae or the cyanobacteria. So, ito yung mga organisms that we cannot see using our naked eyes, no, Tutor Easter. So, kailangan talaga natin ng microscope. So, they are all unicellular, but some form colonies and filaments. So, kapag colonies na sila or filaments na sila, yan, nagkukumpul-kumpul na sila, dumadami na sila. Billions of this eubacteria. And unlike the Archaeobacteria, we have the cells of this one, or the cell wall contains peptidoglycan. So they survive almost anywhere sa flora ng katawan natin, and also they also give diseases sa atin, di ba? Yes. So ito yung mga example natin sa picture. We have cocci. When you say cocci, circular bacteria, circular shaped bacteria. We have bacilli or rod-shaped bacteria, yung lactobacillus natin, di ba? Example ng cocci natin, yung streptococcus. So pag titingnan natin siya under microscope, it's a chain of circular bacteria. Then lactobacillus, bacilli, rod-shaped siya. and then yung nasa Yakult, di ba? And then we have the spirilla, or as you can see, spiral siya. Example natin dyan yung leptospirosis, di ba? Na bacteria na nakukuha natin sa mga blood, sa mga ng rats. Okay, so most of them are autotrophs, and it could be also heterotrophs or chemoautotrophs. Okay, and then we have the kingdom Protista. So ito yung mga living organisms natin, Tutor Easter, na hindi nag-fall or nag-fail na makuha yung criteria ng plant, animal, and fungus. So they are just like plant-like, animal-like, and fungus-like organisms. And this one, they are now eukaryote, meaning meron na silang presence of nucleus and membrane-bound organelle. So mostly, they are unicellular. Meron din nagpo-form ng colonies, and then meron din multicellular. Okay. So they're also can be found mostly in water or aquatic. So some of them are autotrophs and some of them are also heterotrophs. Ito yung mga example natin ng kingdom Protista. We have Euglena. We also have amoeba, and we have Paramecium. And ating kingdom Protista. Okay, so we have also kingdom fungi. So this one are all eukaryotes, and most of the organism natin dito na Tutor Easter sa kingdom fungi are multicellular. Very few lang yung unicellular, specifically the yeast. Okay, mamaya i-discuss natin ano bang function ni yeast sa atin. Okay, so they are all heterotrophs, meaning these fungi rely mostly on other organisms for their food. And then they form spores for reproduction. Naalala ko ito yung master's thesis. The bachelor's thesis ko, Tutor Easter. So, nag-aral talaga kami ng mga fungi. How they develop through spores. Okay, their cell wall contains chitin. It's a polysaccharide. Ayan, so na-discuss yan previously sa ating general biology book. So breaks down organic materials, and napaka-useful ng mga fungi. It provides drugs. Kung naalala natin, Tutor Easter, yung na-discover ni Alexander Fleming, yung penicillin, na can actually a good antibiotic, di ba? And also aids in food production. Yung wine making, kailangan natin ng yeast, beer making, pagbibig natin ng mga breads, kailangan natin ng yeast. Yan sa mga food microbiology talagang gamit na gamit si yeast. Okay. This is also used as model organism in genetics and molecular biology. Okay, so kung ang model organism natin sa anatomy ay frog or cat, so dito in microbiology and in genetics, we can use fungi. But hindi lang puro positive. This can also cause animal diseases and also plant diseases ang ating mga fungi. So meron tayong rhizopus, Neurospora, agaricus, which is yung mushroom, di ba? And fusarium. So we have now our kingdom plantae. Ito. So most of this, yan, okay. Lahat to are eukaryotes, meaning they have the nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. They are all multicellular, and of course, they can make their own food through the process of photosynthesis na diniscuss ni Tutor Wendy and Tutor Eric sa atin ng general biology. So they have this distinct cell wall sa kanilang, distinct cell wall in their cell. Na absent yan sa ating mga animals. And they also have this chlorophyll, a green pigment that is used in the process of photosynthesis. And we can divide the kingdom plantae into two major groups. We have the bryophytes, wherein they are the non-vascular, meaning wala silang xylem and phloem. And then we have the tracheophytes, which are vascular. Okay, so isang kingdom na lang, we have the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so all of this includes us, no? So this one are all eukaryotes, multicellular, meaning we have a lot of cells. We are all heterotrophs. We rely on other organisms for our food. We cannot make our own food. We are considered also as consumer. And the biggest kingdom in the living world. And then we have two major groups. We have the vertebrates and invertebrates. As you can see here in the picture, yan, we have the mammals, fishes, fish, And then we have birds, we have reptiles, amphibians, and then we also have the invertebrates. There you go. So ito ang ating summary for today's lesson. We have the 3 domain, bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. And then we have 6 kingdoms, tutor Easter, no? The eubacteria, archaea bacteria, protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Okay. So ayan. Sana may natutunan ang ating mga BioStar student. Okay, so kanina sa aking discussion, no, tutor Easter, yung may mga nabanggit tayo, no? Ito yung pwedeng maging career ng ating mga BioStar student. So we have zoologists. Okay, when you say zoologist, this study or specialize in animals. So pwede yung aralin yung behavior nila, not only the reproduction, behavior, and then you can also specialize anong particular animal lang ang gusto mong aralin. Okay, and then we also have botanists, this one like Carolus Linnaeus. He was a botanist, and he when you say botany, is study plants. So you can also specialize in certain plant lang, no? Kasi sobrang diverse nga ng ating kingdom plantae. Okay, so paano ba nyo yan merong mga university that offers BS Zoology, but you can also take my, let's say, yung course na kinuha ko, no? I took up BS Biology, and then you can specialize na lang with this one. Okay. So, yan ang ating career connection. So, sana maka-inspire tayo ng ating mga BioStar students in the future.
Yes,
Okay.
makaka-inspire tayo, Tutor Tina, ng mga BioStar students, katulad ng mga kinuha mong kurso na major in biology. So, what's on your mind? Ano na po ba ang ating output for the week, Tutor Tina, mga BioStar students? Ito po ang ating output. Explore your community. Choose 2 plants and 2 animals and take photos of them. Create a flowchart showing their taxonomic classification. Note, please make sure to always observe health and safety protocols. Send your answers on our Facebook page, ETUlay Gen Bio 2 with Tutor Easter and Tutor Tina until March 18, 2022. Okay, so Tutor Tina, sino naman ang ating mga BioStar, mahusay output of the week?
Okay, so before that, no, make sure lang natin kahit naka-alert level 1 na tayo, BioStar students, make sure to observe pa rin health and safety protocols. And don't forget, beat the deadline. Okay, diba? So before natin i-present yung mahusay output of the week, Tutor Easter, let's have the knowledge check first.
Yes, opo. Sige po, Tutor Tina.
Okay, so let's have this one. For number 1, the father of modern classification is blank. Okay, is it A, Aristotle, B, Charles Darwin, C, Carolus Linnaeus, or letter D, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck? Okay, BioStar students, please type your answers, type the number, and then your answer. Okay.
Okay, Tutor Tina, we have an answer. Letter C. Is it letter C?
Okay, let's see. The correct answer is, of course, letter C, Carolus Linnaeus. Ang galing. Okay, let's go to number 2, Tutor Easter. A scientific name contains information about its A, family and species, B, genus and species, C, phylum and order, or letter D, class and family. Yan. Okay, ano na, type na, BioStar students. Number 2, and then the letter of your answer.
Okay, Tutor Tina, we have an answer. Letter B. Is it letter B, genus and species?
Okay, correct. We have genus and species. Okay, for number 3, which of the following statements about taxonomic levels is correct? Is it A, species is the most general? Letter B, kingdom is the most specific? C, class is less specific than phylum? Or letter D, family is more specific than order? Okay, so pwede nyo gamitin yung mnemonics natin kanina, no? Para matandaan nyo or maka-answer kayo dito sa question number 3. Okay, nahirapan ba ang ating mga BioStar students, Tutor Easter? Kamusta ang kanilang mga sagot?
Mukhang nahirapan nga, Tutor Tina, pero meron tayong sagot na letter B at letter D. So ano po ba ang tamang sagot, Tutor Tina?
Yes, so
B
the
or D?
answer, The answer is letter D. Family is more specific than order. Okay, let's go to number 4. Which of the following is the correct way of writing scientific names? Is it letter A, Homo sapiens, lahat ay naka-lowercase. Letter B, Oryza sativa, always capitalized and then it's italic. Letter C, Felis catus, capitalized ang F, capitalized din ang C. And then we have letter D, Zea mays, which is naka-bold or naka-caps lock, but it is underlined. Okay, ano na ang ating mga sagot? 5-star students.
Okay, we have an answer from Allen Mark, letter B. From Jesser Anbayani, letter B. I think we have an answer. All of them answered letter B, mostly.
Okay, correct. So, very good. Nakinig talaga sa discussion. It's letter B, Oryza sativa. Okay, let's have the last one. What is the correct order of classification from the broadest to most specific? Is it A, domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species? Letter B, class, domain, family, genus, kingdom, order, phylum, species? Letter C, species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain? And letter D, phylum, kingdom, domain, species, genus, family, order, class. Ayan. So, gamit na gamit ang ating mnemonic for today. Ano ba ang answer natin?
Tina, we have an answer already. So most of them answered letter A. Is it letter A, Tutor Tina?
Okay, yes, correct. Letter A for number 5. Very good, no? Talaga nakinig ang ating mga bio-star students. Okay.
So ito naman, Tutor Tina, ang ating mga mahusay output of the week. So maraming nag-submit po ng ating mga output of the week at talagang nagpapasalamat tayo at kailangan natin silang parangalan. So from Horacio de la Costa High School, Arian Saavedra. From Ayla Golosinda, from Horacio de la Costa High School, and from San Lorenzo Ruiz Senior High School, kay Tutor Tina, Miss Daichi Vallejo.
Yes.
And from Jones Rural School, Charmaine Ballesteros. And from another person of Jones Rural School, Whitney Lantano.
Okay.
Another one from Jones Rural School, John Wayne Prieto. And from Lorenzo S. Sarmiento Senior National High School, Amar Sali.
Okay, ito pa.
From Jones Rural School, Frances Carel Bayan. And from Horacio de la Costa High School, Michael J. Lutiba. And from Marawoy Integrated National High School, Kimberly Nicole Fiestada. And I think this is a video, right? From Gian Soriano, from Horacio de la Costa High School. So ito ang effort, talagang nag-create siya ng video. Okay, so yan po. And we appreciate all of your mahusay output of the week. So keep on submitting your output for our next sessions.
Yes. So these are our references to the Easter books and then our online references. And of course, don't forget also to support other senior high school science and technology subjects. We have physical science, we have empowerment technologies, disaster readiness and risk reduction, and of course, general biology too. Okay.
Okay, for our feedback, so you have to scan the URL, the QR code, and type the URL https://tinure.com ETUlay feedback form. So your complaints, your feedback, your comments, suggestions matter to us.
Okay, yes. And maraming salamat po. Susunod na po ang alternative learning system, lifelong learning. Okay, so again, this has been Tutor Tina from San Lorenzo Ruiz Senior High School, SDO Pasig.
Ako po si Tutor Easter from Horacio de la Costa High School, SDO Caloocan City. Inaanyayahan ulit kayo na manood tuwing Lunes, 4:40 to 5:20 p.m. at nag-iiwan ng mga katagang magkakaiba man ang pagbabago o magkakaiba man ang ating mga lahi, ang ating mga kultura at ating mga nasyonal. Kung tayo magsasama-sama ay magbubuo tayo ng pagbabago sa mundo. #Bayanihan.
Yes. Okay, next time or next week ulit, no, samahan nyo kami Monday, 4:40 to 5:20 p.m. Bye, mga ka-ETUlay.
Salamat! Salamat po sa lahat.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!